The byproduct of that is homeowners end up getting screwed over at the end of the day. But right now, they need you.
Right.
You need to understand the old programs versus the new program.
Why do homeowners need to be aware of solar, and what problems is solar solving?
Simple. Our electrical infrastructure, the utility grid across the country, is 130 years old. And if we don't do something about that, we're going to be hurting.
Who are you? Why should we listen to you about solar?
My name is Dylan. Been doing sales for the last 14 years, business development, specifically in the solar space. Been doing a little over 4 years. My first 3.5, almost 4 years in this industry were with a smaller company, starting it from day one, from the ground up, being able to take it from zero to over $40 million. So I have the perspective of a brand new startup and being able to build it to a very respectable amount. $40 million is not nothing to throw shade at. So being able to do a lot in the industry, and ultimately then realizing as things have changed in the economy, it's ultimately forced businesses to evolve, to stretch, to change with it. The products and services that were being offered in the realm of solar had completely changed over the last year. I've got a wide view on really what makes the most sense in the marketplace and who are the best companies to partner up with.
Why should I care? If I'm a homeowner, why should I don't work for the utility company? How does that affect me? Why do I care?
We're getting away from fossil fuel infrastructure that's old and outdated, and we're upgrading it with renewable infrastructure, harnessing the sun, which is something that we can count on, right? Being able to harness the energy of the sun to aid in our electrical upgrades, right? It's a no-brainer knowing that we need to evolve from our current old infrastructure to new infrastructure. We have a massive supply and demand issue that is being created by population increase, data centers, electric vehicles, and AI. Because we need to rewire America. We need to upgrade the current electrical infrastructure that we have. It's the upgrade of utility companies. There's 4 layers of utility in Texas. You have the Public Utilities Commissioner of Texas. You have ERCOT. You have CenterPoint, Encore, Texas, New Mexico Power, one of those 3. You'll only be in one of them. Those are the people that deliver the power. And then the REPs, the retail energy providers, you can have up to 150 of them.
So you said the reasons why solar is a thing. The grid is old, it's outdated. We have increased demand that's coming from EVs, data centers, AI, increased population, and also increased consumption per household.
We need more homes that are producing their own energy, as well as being able to store that energy. Our whole goal would be to take that bill that you're giving to your utility company. We're going to redirect that over to a solar payment. And it's still cheaper for them to leverage existing infrastructure of a homeowner than it is to go build new infrastructure such as a solar farm. They're going to redirect that money and become your utility company. And now they're looking for homes that make the most sense.
So virtual power plant, I produce and store the power that my home consumes on site. I draw from my batteries when I have the need to, which is when the sun goes down. I recharge those batteries when the sun comes up. If I produce more power, my batteries are full and I'm not consuming as much, I pump that back into the grid. Takes the stress off the grid.
Power purchasing agreement, I think, is the key thing people need to do. You're agreeing to pay for the power that a system produces. It's the upgrade of utility companies.
I don't want to pay any money. I don't want to spend any money on this. I'm already spending money on my utility bill. I don't want to spend any money on solar.
No upfront costs, no out-of-pocket costs, no loan, no debt, no hidden fees. There's never anything connected to this project that you will ever pay for with a virtual power plant tethered to the Freedom Forever platform. The only thing you ever pay for is the power that system produces, and we have a production guarantee.
This just sounds too good to be true. If I don't have to pay any money and you guys are going to come and put solar on my roof, I know that it costs money to have a crew come out here and do that. How is this happening? It just sounds too good to be true.
This program was designed with all of the old pain points of the old programs in mind, right? The utility companies need more people to go solar. The utility grid is old and outdated, and we have a massive need for power. Once they don't need you anymore, once they've started to catch up and they've started to replace enough of the infrastructure, programs like this will no longer exist because they don't need you. They found more effective and efficient ways to do the same thing.
But I'm about to move. We don't want to be tied down to any, long-term agreements or have any issues trying to sell our home.
Yeah, it's super simple. It's a $200 transfer fee. The system itself, the batteries, the power, everything is completely taken care of. And all they're doing is taking that system and transferring it over to the new homeowner. Just like if they were going to be with traditional power bills and they were going to go with Encore and REPs, retail energy providers, they would do the same thing. They'd move into the home and they would get everything switched to their name. And now that would be the process if they were going to move into a home. It's no different. They're making it as seamless as possible. Business as usual, because this is the new way of doing things when it comes to power purchasing agreements and upgrading the grid. You allow us access to your roof. You rent a piece of your roof to us. Well, we already bought the system. We own the system. We'll warranty the system bumper to bumper. We pay for all the upfront money. We pay for the loan. We pay for, because we're still working with the lenders. We pay for all of it. We pay for the permits. We pay for the engineering. We pay for everything all the way through the process. We assume all of the liability bumper to bumper. You don't have to worry about none of that. That is something that with this bill swap program, you're just redirecting to a virtual power plant agreement versus a traditional utility bill. Yeah. So that's how a virtual power plant works is it produces your power through the solar panels. You're able to store that power with the batteries, and you're able to use that battery as an import export for your system and to gain more efficiency. And you're also able to use that battery for backup power in the event of a storm.
If you go solar and you need to get your roof done, what'll happen most likely is that your solar system is going to protect your roof for one. You need softball size hail at least to cause damage to the solar panels. So if we have that, we've got bigger problems, right? Mm-hmm. But when it does need to be replaced, what'll happen is we'll detach the solar. That's typically day one. And we have different crews that specialize in detach and reset. Depending on how the homeowner has their power purchasing agreement set up and their deal with their solar company, it may involve calling out the company that installed that solar, or we can bring in one of our crews to do it. But the insurance company, if you've notified them properly, they will give a line item for the detach and reset. So we just take the solar off, store it safely, do your roof, take it off, put it back on, and then we give the roof a few days to rest, and then we reset the solar, and it's like nothing ever happened. So that's the process right there.
Mm-hmm. And that's now built into your roof. It's part of your policy. It comes along just like your fence or your windows or anything else that's a part of that quote. Solar is just bundled into that. And generally, again, you're not replacing it. You're just taking it off and putting it back on.
Yep.
This is not a loan. I'm going to say that very clearly. This is not a loan. You're not going in debt at all for the millionth time. I just want to make sure I make that clear because it's very easy to confuse it with other things. And this actually does not even impact anyone's credit. Any homeowner that gets approved for this process, it's just like a phone bill or any traditional utility bill. The only time you would ever see this on your credit is if you were to not pay your bills. If you were to default on the program, then it shows up on your credit. But other than that, there is no punishment or no credit dings or anything like that. There's no DTI because you're not in debt for anything, right? You can look this stuff up. I just want to make sure that people understand that.
So, I mean, I think we're sitting here at the kitchen table, which is where most of these conversations happen. And I think that if somebody's considering going solar after watching this, if you're a solar sales rep and you want to have more clarity on the new programs that are out there in Texas, batteries are the solution. Honestly, across the country, batteries are the solution. Going solar takes that stress off the grid. Just to kind of give this a whole conversation recap. Why does this even matter? The grid is over 130 years old. The demand on the grid has grown, right?
And
why?
It's continuing.
And it's continuing to grow because of data centers, AI, EVs. People use more population. People use more energy. How do we fix this problem? Well, we either have to build new infrastructure or leverage existing infrastructure. A virtual power plant allows you to produce, store, and distribute the power that you need all on site. That site being your home. So now you make the decision, how do you want to go solar? Do you want to finance and go with old solar and assume all the liability? Or do you go with the virtual power plant agreement where all you are liable to do is pay for the power that your system produces, that you consume, and you have these finance companies and these solar installers that will take on all the risk of making sure your system is performing. If a panel is not functioning properly, they come out and fix that. They put a 25-year warranty on the batteries. So you either pay your current utility provider, which is making electricity via fossil fuels, or you switch to a renewable energy power purchasing agreement where you produce that power on site. Is that sum that up good? All right. So hopefully this information was helpful if you're a homeowner or if you work in the solar industry. My name is Javon Wheeler.
Dylan Olsen.
And we are with Solar Pros and our installers Freedom Forever. And we're looking to help homeowners go solar one door at a time.